Been locked up going on 17 years now. I ain't seen my family since probably 2012, 2011. It's been a long time. My family's poor. They can't afford to drive 6, 7 hours. I mean, my mom's cars have been in the shop for like 3 or 4 months. She just got it back. It's all ragged down. I ain't got much family out there. All of them's dying off and stuff, man. We so poor, they can't even afford funerals. Our family, we got to get donated to science. So my dad died, my aunt died, everybody's dying off. I still got a couple people left. My daughter, she's moving in with my mom Friday, so I would be able to see them if I was closer. I'd be like in Greene County. I'd be about 45 minutes away. I did an ARP, and they turned me down and said we ain't got no bed space in Greene County. And on top of that, you got in trouble there. Okay, well, now back then they had two different kind of fighting RVRs. They had a little horse plane BRVR, and they had a C8, which was major. So I had a B8, a little horse plane RVR. Alright, the only reason they moved me from where I was at is because they had only one zone that had the cell phone unit. I had it back then. You got caught with a cell phone, you had to go to the cell phone program. So there was nowhere for me to go but to another cell phone program, and there was only 3 in the state, so I got shipped off. So the next ARP I did, it got turned down because you can't do the same ARP 2 times. Well, the first one said that they didn't have any bed space, then I should be able to do another one. So my next ARP says, well, the first was rejected, so you can't file another ARP with the same problem. So I'm pretty much stuck here. I did everything to get away from here. I signed off of psych, even though I probably needed it, but I was level 4, so I said, get me off of this. So now I find out I'm still level 4 medical. I had a minor surgery, which I do have lots wrong with me that they won't check me here at Parchman, my lungs and all that. They won't do nothing for me at Parchman, but I had a surgery back when I was in Marshall County years ago, and so they still got me pegged for level 4 medical. So I'm pretty much stuck here. Every time there's a problem, they band-aid it. Every time there's a problem, they band-aid it. So they came and they pulled all the cable wires down that we had running. I admit the cable wires was a hazard, but at the same time, now we can't watch TV. My TV don't even work. Nobody's TVs work. Just the 2 TVs up here, they got them on. They keep them on their own channel. One on sports TV, one on the movie TV. You know, everybody don't want to be watching that. You can't hear that at your rack. So by their rules, B custody, that's a privilege B custody gets. They're able to order TVs and get TV programming. Now, about 3 years ago, they went to C building and fixed it up and they didn't really fix it up, but they did run the cable wire to every bunk. And I got a feeling the only reason they did that because the Bro Kane was coming, and when he came, they took him to that building. This was years ago. He quit coming to general population. Like he strictly goes to the hole. You can't see how people's living in the hole, sitting at the table. They back there behind them bars. All these wires are still fucked up. You still got fans damn near catching fire when in the summer when we're trying to run them. But anyways, I'm trying to see my family. I'm trying to see everybody call Burl Kane and tell him, get me the fuck over down south. I want to go down south where I can see my family. This how they do. This what they're gonna do. They're gonna put me in seg. They done did that. I stayed in the hole for 10 years. It's a trap. Once you get in there, 1 RVR, you start over. 1 RVR, that's a whole nother year. That's another 2 years type shit. And then they so crooked here, the woman finds me guilty. Okay, so 2022, I got found guilty of a piss test because I couldn't pee. I told her, look, I take urine pills so I can be able to pee. So she called up there and they told her, yeah, it's a urine pill, but half of it is blood pressure pill. Okay, so you got 2 whole pills into one. Now she want to come at me like you only take half of the pill, so you're found guilty. You cost me a whole year in the hole for nothing. It's so fucked up here. You got people jumping off the tiers trying to kill themselves. They say he died. I don't know. It was right next door to me. That's the second time in 1 year somebody jumped off the top tier just from this zone. Multiple times I've seen people cut their arms open to get sent to suicide watch. this year. It's because we're treated like shit here, harassed. They don't care if our TVs don't pick up. See, it's all Band-Aid. Throw a coat of cheap paint over it, you know. Band-Aid it up just so you can get that pass. It's all about getting that one pass, then we're fucked for a whole nother year. Even if they do fix the cable, this place is still, you ain't gonna fix that power. You need to get the one socket and tie that up to a bumper of a truck and drive away and pull all of it out. Instead of spending a couple $1,000s to get inmates in here trying to patch it up, you need to spend about $2 or $3 million and do it the right way. They don't want to do that. We suffering, and while we're suffering, they're making it worse by making it harder on us any way they can. I'm getting fed up more than the average inmate here because, man, I've been in 29 longer than almost anybody. I rolled up in 2019 the second time. I've been here ever since. And I'm going to tell you the truth. When they supposedly fixed this place up and dropped that lawsuit, they literally did nothing. They put a cheap coat of paint. They put a cheap coat of paint up, man. I mean, I just wish that I was here whenever Jay-Z's lawyers, Rock Nation and all that was walking around. How can you look at this shit and say that it's cool? How can you look at this and think that you ain't got enough evidence? They had to have been something more to it. Maybe Jay-Z's lawyers were getting pressured by other people to drop it. I mean, it's a big business, man. You got governors involved. They all making money. It's coming at a price, though. We're still drinking this nasty-ass water, eating this nasty-ass food. Can't get no damn medical help half the time. I'm fully prepared to go to Walnut Grove, sit in the hole, just to get away from here. See, they want to punish you when you reach out. If you mess up, stab somebody, they'll send you to the little hole over there. But boy, if you get caught trying to send some information out to the free world, your ass is gone, buried under the damn Walnut Grove. Your ass is through. But guess what? I'm already through. All they want to do is come and shake somebody down, and try to get a cell phone. God forbid they try to call their family. They need to legalize phones in prison. Ain't no phones helping nobody escape. It's the damn guards unlocking the gates every time to let the people out to escape.
Inmates are still forced to drink contaminated rust water oversaturated in chlorine or bleach products. This has cut years off of our lives, leaving us with permanent damage. They initially tried to make it look good by shutting down some buildings in Unit 29 6 years ago. Now, what are the odds that every other building gets reopened when they were all equally old and unfit to house inmates? The buildings are in such bad shape. Almost every electrical outlet is a fire hazard, with many of them having exposed bald wires. The power shuts off if the wind blows too hard. The roof leaks if it rains too hard. If it gets too cold, the old heater is turned on, which overheats the top tier and underheats the bottom tier. The ceilings are all jerry-rigged up metal panels that regularly fall down. Almost all maintenance is performed by inmates who more times than not don't have the proper tools or training to do their job adequately. The buildings are so dilapidated that the places to hide contraband are almost limitless, causing the collection of inmate shanks and even free world knives to grow exponentially over the years, which almost guarantees that a repeat of 2020 looms in Parchman's near future. If you have relatives doing time at Parchman, you should fear for their lives. Guards are regularly fired for bringing contraband into the facility, with the most recent being around March 26 of 2026. We inmates are extorted at every opportunity. Given bad food, only to be sold trays from the prison restaurant at an average of $10 per tray, which only wealthy inmates can afford, and we're given nasty water only to be served $3 Cokes on commissary. Our dining hall food service was swapped out around 2021, and for a short few months, the food was pretty good. They were giving us everything from potato chips to real sausage. Now we eat food that's even worse than the prior food distributor. We have no idea what type of meat we are eating, but it's not even fit for animal consumption. Inmates who work in the dining hall usually have trouble getting reimbursement for their time, so they resort to withholding ingredients from our meals, stealing anything from onions to bell peppers and bringing them back to the zone to sell to wealthy inmates. Before those scheduled inspections, inmates were forced to paint over black mold with low-quality paint that fades within a few months. At Unit 29 we were given one so-called fun day in 2024 and since then have rarely had access to our softball field or any sports equipment. We are rarely given access to the barber shop. The toilets literally hang from the walls here and regularly leak water that us inmates have to continually mop up. The shower water is regularly too cold to shower in, as the hot water must be pumped from across the prison. Most outer windows do not close. Most windows lack any bug screens. Although each zone contains a guard tower, they are never used and are usually empty entirely without even one chair being present. Typically one female guard will sit by the front door of the building. The prison is so understaffed that if anything ever were to happen, it literally would take K9 officers 15 minutes just to drive to our unit in order to calm defuse any situation. The exterior guard towers outside of Unit 29 haven't housed guards in years or even decades, and just now in 2026 are they being cleared of years of trash, to maybe one day be functional. Inmates who stab other inmates are regularly housed in segregation on Parchman grounds, but any inmate caught trying to expose poor living conditions to the public is immediately bused to Walnut Grove long-term segregation at Burl Cain's personal discretion, with no personal property and very limited and monitored access to pay phone calls. Although Parchman has generators surrounding Unit 29, they haven't been crunk up in many years. We highly doubt any of them actually work. Who is collecting all the money to fix this place up? The truth is, this place is too outdated to be reparable. Although Burl Cain periodically visits Parchman, he rarely visits us in the general population, preferring the safer places to visit, such as segregation, or he is regularly accompanied with armed guards despite firearms being banned from the facility. In 2020 Unit 29 was closed, and for some reason it was allowed to open despite only receiving temporary paint jobs. This was to give the public the impression that this entire facility has rebounded and is now a safe and humane facility. But what everyone needs to know is this whole prison is worse now in 2026 than it was 6 years ago. Your tax dollars are buying things like big fire pit grills for the staff to use at their almost rent-free on-site houses, as well as other kickbacks they help themselves to. Although inmates built a new chapel at Unit 30, inmates in other units, including 29, must continue to use the dining hall or gym for their services. The medical here is not up to par. Many nurses act as if they will be reprimanded for referring inmates to see a real doctor. This is getting out of hand. Burl Cain and his cronies, including Tate Reeves, need to be happy with what money they have already profited off of our suffering so far, and shut this whole prison down.